Welcome to another episode of Queen3 and King. No, your eyes are not deceiving you. You only see two queens and one king.
Wait.
Y'all might be
I am
queens.
not a king.
There was this one time in band camp.
That is freaking gross.
Oh my gosh.
As you can see, we are down one queen, the baby queen, Mama Lee. She's out today, but we will try to do her proud and fill in accordingly.
Right.
Today's topic is cancel culture. You ought to know what that is. You may also refer to it as the Me Too movement.
Get out of here.
We will discuss.
Well, it kind of does have something to do with.
Yeah, we will discuss. Our definitions of cancel culture. We will discuss. Things such as why does it exist? Does it really hold people accountable, and a couple of other things. We will discuss what the streets are talking about today, because these streets been talking. They doing some other talking today. And let me say this. The Eagles ain't the only one that believe they could fly last night. Somebody else believe they could fly, and we'll talk about it, and these streets are talking. So Mika will fill in with that segment today. And without further ado, let me go ahead and introduce our co-host. We will start with the more seasoned queen out of Anna, Texas, by way of East Garland, standing at 5'3" tall, known as the Skinny Minnie, Boney Maroney, the Glamour, Coco, Darling Nikki herself. What up, Queen?
Greetings, everyone.
Oh.
Did you say greens? Greens or greetings?
I said greetings. You heard me.
Like
that was my proper voice.
Well, you need to say
greetings,
it regular.
Everyone.
You need to say it regular because it sounds like you said greens.
Yeah.
I'm like, what kind of greens? Collard, mustard?
Mama
Collard.
All right. And now, Queen of Tulsa.
Why are you clapping so loud?
Meba. Say hi to the people, Queen.
Hey, y'all. Good evening.
That Anita Baker voice is back. It was halfway gone one week, but it is back now. All right, we got Charlotte Wilson in the building as usual. She says, "Good evening,
Good evening.
Hi, Charlotte.
Good evening, Ms. Wilson. We got Amy Rita in the house.
Hey, Marita.
We got BS3 being a BS3 radio says sup family. He is not that cool, trust me. So if you say sup family again, Ben Suttereth is the third, is the gentleman who put the BS in BS3 radio.
What's up, BS?
We got Justin Caraway, cornbread.
You must say Justin Colt.
No,
you gotta say
cornbread daddy, Justin Caraway. All right, we got Aunt Weed in the house. Say howdy, family. She be on this cowgirl.
Howdy, Auntie.
Oh, hey, Auntie.
Sometimes. So let's dig into it. Council culture. We're gonna start with Nikki, and I just simply want to know, how do you define council culture? What is council culture to you?
Well, I think it is a way that we typically will cut somebody off due to the fact of what they have done to someone or what they may have said. There's various things, and it's normally in my opinion, I believe that it's normally with celebrities and public figures.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you ain't finna counsel the dude to stay next door. Where we gonna counsel him from? The local PTA?
Actually, I might want to counsel the one next door to us, but that's another story.
We don't even know him.
But I know him, and I can tell y'all about him.
Oh,
no, that's all right. That may be some legalities there that we do not want to get into.
I want to see him.
Oh no, you don't.
Mika, how do you define council culture? What is council culture to you?
The act of. You like that?
No.
Oh, okay. Well,
no, that wasn't cute. Yeah, your hair is cute, but that wasn't cute.
I don't know about that.
It's the act of cutting something someone or a place off, because people
Oh
they
yeah,
canceled H&M about a couple years ago. So
Good
and now
point.
they back.
and now they back.
Were they really ever gone?
No, they were not.
Mhm.
And it could be for a short amount of time or extended
Right.
amount of time.
Mhm.
So, and it usually has something to do with how they've talked, what they've said,
Mhm.
who they've disrespected, and if it's racism or whatever the case may be. So, we kind of cut people off
Right.
due to those
Okay.
things.
So you bring up a good point talking about we cut places off. Did we cut True Kitchen and Cocktails off a few months ago when they were
No,
playing twerking music but got mad because folks was twerking?
no, because if you playing back that thing up, I'm gonna back that thing up. I don't care where we at. No, just playing. But if you're gonna play the music, you expect the people to do something. Now, am I gonna be on furniture and all that stuff? No, that's extra.
Hmm.
But you can't cut somebody off for wanting their establishment to be a certain type of way. Now, I had a whole bunch of things to say about that owner. You should have played different music,
Hmm.
and you should have handled them. You don't have to cuss at people to act a fool. So some people cut them off, but reservations were still popping. Believe me.
Mm. All right. So for me, defining council culture, for some old heads, and again for some of the, educators or college grads in our audience who, look at history, council culture isn't new, right?
No.
We just used to call it something else. We used to call it ostracism, right? It's a
Mhm.
modern form of ostracism, right? Where, people used to ostracize somebody, and basically that meant we ignored you, right? The Catholic Church would basically counsel you, right? I forget the term that they use for Catholics that use for that, but and somebody who's listening may know that term. It's at the tip of my tongue, but I can't think about it right now. But they will counsel you if you do something that they deem to be one of those kind of sins that ain't. Yeah, somebody Google it for me. Uh,
I know the word.
Communication. I can't remember the name. I can't remember. Somebody may think of it, but the Catholic Church has been doing it. So again, council culture isn't new. It's just a new term, right?
Right.
And again, it's also a form of boycotting, right? So Mika talked
Mhm.
about um, uh, the places that we may cancel, right? Like H&M, the store for the advertising that they had. We had before we even talked about council culture, Cracker Barrel got canceled, right? For the way
Yeah.
they treated us when we
Not by me. I still eat a Cracker
excommunication.
Barrel.
There you go. Excommunication. Is it? See, I said communicate.
Excommunication.
Yeah, I said communicate. I knew it was something like that. Tip of my tongue. So yeah, Catholic Church excommunication. Appreciate that, Bree
I
Mac.
ain't
We'll
cutting
put that
Cracker
up
Barrel
there.
off. I don't care what
We'll
y'all
put that
say.
up. We'll put that up. But yeah, Cracker Barrel. And just as a side note, if your name Cracker Barrel, shit.
Well, I'll tell you this. Let me tell you this. Then that Cracker Barrel sure got some good food.
Yeah, they gave food
I'm
good.
not. I mean, I've never been a Cracker Barrel fan, but them pancakes
Yeah,
With the
crispy on
pecans in it.
the outside, though.
yeah. If your name Cracker
Mhm.
Barrel, if Cracker anywhere in your name, you probably got
Oh
some
my
racial
gosh.
tendencies. Justin said it's being blackballed, the same thing. Yes,
Yep.
I think it is.
Yep.
I think that's another term for it, kinfolk, that we hadn't talked about. So again, boycotting. So you can really bring it back. And again, some people are
Mhm.
going to say it's different because the council culture it tends to be geared toward acts of sexual harassment or
Mm.
assault or something of
Yeah.
that nature. Or, but then again, it has also been some form of racism, right?
Right.
Right, or racial injustice.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, then you have to link it with being boycotted, because
Mhm.
again, even the bus boycotts back in the day, they were based on racial inequality, right? So boycotting, and then just a simple term of it is ending support for somebody, you know, whether it be an actor or a business or whatever the case may be. Cancel culture is that act. Again, one thing that we have to keep in mind is that cancel culture can ruin careers. So we want to be careful with it, but sometimes we are not. All right, just a couple more comments. And we just say I didn't call it counsel when I cut people off. I purged that. Okay.
Well, that's a professional word to use.
I thought this was on Wednesday.
No, maybe the podcast.
This Tuesday. What podcast? We ain't got no podcast on no Wednesdays. It's been Tuesday. The forecast.
The forecast will be on
tomorrow just because of the Monday night game, but typically it's Tuesday. She laughed at Weed's comment about purging. Okay. Oh, I got some more down. Hera. Marita laughed at Rita also. Got H-Rap B in the building. Says, good evening, Queens and King. What's up, H-Rap?
Hey, H-Rap.
Lena said, hey, family. Show do love y'all beautiful faces.
We love
thank you, Mom.
We just kind of like yours.
D
Great
we love her face.
Says, good evening. What's up, D Great?
Good evening.
All right. Genevieve says, blacklist, blackball applies to employment. In my opinion, as an HR professional, I hear this a lot. Lack of promotions. That's a good point.
I didn't think about it from the employment.
Yeah, that's true.
Charlotte Wilson says, I think of cancel culture as boycotting, which you mentioned a little earlier. They got Brandy Love Dawkins saying, hey, y'all. What's going on? Congratulations on your, I think, 3 accepted offers this week.
That's wonderful, Brandy.
Go, girl.
Big Illinois in the house. What's good? What's up, Big Illinois?
Wait a minute. Didn't they just say he was still in jail?
He got out.
He got privileges. And we don't call it jail. We don't say the word. We just say he just got out, just in case.
Okay.
You know, say.
You can be telling her, you just got out of jail.
Yeah, you say too much. And these are just jokes, people. Big Illinois.
I didn't know if he was in hysterics or where he was.
Big Illinois. They've been to jail in a long time.
But wait, I don't know if he was in hysterics or where he was at.
He's been reformed.
He's saved now.
And look at
Well, praise the Lord.
He's still in the car. He just got those privileges. Brandon said, thank you.
You're welcome.
You're welcome, sweet.
Okay, so Mika, we're gonna start with you on this question.
Okay.
Why does cancel culture even exist?
I think it was something that we could do without, having to be in one place. So everybody can cancel somebody over social media or, if we're not in person. So it was something that we can come together and do and affect whoever or whatever while not having to come together to congregate. So it would also send a message to that person or that business that you've been canceled or you've been blackballed. And when we cancel people, we don't just do it in our homes. Like, we make sure they know. So one person that I can think of right off top was R. Kelly. He was canceled a couple years ago. People stopped playing his music. People stopped going to his concert. People stopped streaming his music or whatever the case may be. So it is loud. It's something that you can do loud that affects a person for a long time.
All right. Yeah, Rita agrees with you. She goes, R. Kelly is canceled. Nikki, why does cancel culture exist?
I think it does exist more now than it did back in the past, whenever it was called boycotting and all these other different names, because of what Mika said, because there is your Facebook, your Instagrams, your Twitter, and all these other different things. And people are also, I believe people are a little bit more bolder in this day and age, with especially our young people, with how they feel. They actually communicate that, and sometimes not in a good way, but they still communicate that. So I think that that's the reason why we know so many people who are being canceled, or why we cancel so many people. Because otherwise, if you think about it, if it wasn't for social media, you probably wouldn't hear about a lot of these things that's going on right now.
Right. Good point.
So,
And that's what I was going to say in my answer is that so the reason for me when I hear council culture, my first thing is the Me Too movement, right? But as we illustrated at the beginning when we discussed how do we define council culture, we can see that it has been around for a long time, right? However, after the Me Too movement, and I believe it was Alyssa Milano, the girl we know as the kid. This is dating me, but a lot of people used to watch Who's the Boss, I believe is the name of it, and she was the daughter there, right? Alyssa Milano. Been in and around Hollywood for a long time. I think she was the one who recently coined it, but as recently as like 2014, the term Me Too came about, right? But it came back up again around 2017 with Alyssa Milano and Harvey Weinstein and whatnot, right? And so now, because we have social media, as Nikki talked about, we got to give things a name or a hashtag so we know what we're talking about, right? So first, Me Too movement came about and it started growing. And then the fallout from the Me Too movement had to have a name, and that's council culture. That's why you can't say Me Too movement and council culture are the same. The Me Too movement was just simply the awareness. The council culture was the result, right? So that's where we're at on that. Let's see. We got Lena says Auntie Monique was too, but she climbing back.
Oh yeah, she is. She coming back a little bit.
Did she get canceled? Or did she put her foot in her mouth?
I think, well, that may be the case. We put her foot in her mouth.
You know,
that's a good one, Shalina.
But she just started talking about, because she got in trouble when she started calling out Netflix, and then I believe she started
about her money and all that stuff,
Lee Daniels and Oprah and some other folks. I think she kind of lumped into that Tyler area as well, you know. So she started picking on
for a moment, y'all.
Yeah, but I'm saying, was it because of anything she did, or she just said something?
She might have said something
that's you know, see, she didn't do. Did she do something to get canceled?
But that's the thing. You can do or say something to get canceled.
Yeah, that's true.
It's not always an action. It can be by
yeah, that's right. That's right. But typically, though, what you say is against a racial group, right? Or someone of a different sexual orientation.
Yeah.
Right. Which I'll put this comment up. Let me see if I can find it.
But it could be. Could it be because of the fact? Could it be because of the fact that she actually said something that was true, in fact, about those people, about Netflix and whomever else?
Right, possibly. But my point is, hers is different simply because it wasn't against a group. You know, this was against some individuals. You know. That's what was different about it, and that's why the term blackballed may be more appropriate in this particular situation, right?
She touched Oprah, and
you touched some big hitters. You know, you touched Oprah, you touched Tyler Perry, you touched Lee Daniel. You know, so yeah, you touched some pretty big folks, right? And we'd also bring up Paula Deen was canceled. That's your racial situation, right?
Sure was.
I forgot about that.
She said, I can't remember exactly what she said, but it was a racial situation.
Yes, I forgot.
And a lot of black folks hated it too because they like some Paula Deen cooking.
I used to watch that little show, but y'all, that's true. We haven't heard from her since.
It's been a minute, yeah. But let's see, Rucker Park in the house. Ladies and gentlemen. Golden Brooks in the house. Hey, y'all, what's going on, Golden? Living my life like it's golden. Living my life like it's golden. Chief Rocker, Vernon Ricks in the house. Doc, what up, Vernon? What's that, lady?
Hey.
Golden Brooks just speaking to folks. Justin said the world is becoming so soft and you are seeing it more and more.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Real soft.
Everybody get an award.
We just said Monique needs an attitude adjustment. She's still not humble. Charlotte says Monique calling out big guys got her counseling in Hollywood more than my fans. Right. Now it seems that what she said is true and she's slowly getting work again.
Right.
Yeah.
And also I like the fact I like the
No,
fact
go
that
ahead.
she talks about those bonnets. That's true. About them bonnets
Yeah.
for the
Oh
black
yeah.
women.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna
Now,
text her about Mika.
now, she talked about it seems like it's true. Now that's something that's different, right? Truth in this whole council culture thing,
Right.
I don't know that necessarily they go hand in hand all the time, right? Sometimes you can be rumored to have done something. I don't think we boil it down to, truth all the time, let's just say. So for instance, Monique, when that first came up, I didn't hear anybody trying to determine and decipher
Right.
whether or not what she
That's
was
right.
saying was true or not. They were just immediately on her, and again, you start saying it about certain powerful individuals, it's going to cost you. I took it at face value when she said it. I didn't think she was making it up, and I
Yeah.
thought it was true myself, but what can you do about the truth sometimes?
Yeah.
All right, Roseanne, that's a good point. She got out kicked off a whole show. That
Yeah.
had her damn name on it.
Name on it.
See?
Name on the show, and they say bye.
And hers was due to, what was Roseanne's about? It was
Race.
about
It was racism
racial
too.
stuff,
Yeah.
political. I think she got into the whole Trump thing, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
Ellen got canceled.
Oh
I
yes,
think
she did too.
Ellen was more about how she treated her people,
Yeah.
though.
I
Treating
just
up
She
her
couldn't
treated her
believe
workers,
that.
employers.
huh?
I just couldn't
Because
believe
it
that.
doesn't match. It doesn't match what you see
That's
in
On
her show,
on the
right?
show.
Because she seems to be funny. She do the dancing thing. She's very likable in that sense. But behind the scenes,
Right.
she was an asshole, apparently.
yeah.
Derek said, "Love that Paula Dean cookware."
Oh
That went
yeah.
on sale,
It did.
They tried to cancel Ali. Yeah, talking about the because he draft dodged basically, because he's like, I'm not going. Really, that'd have been a good interview clip to play. He talked about, ain't no Viet Cong done nothing to me, so he didn't want to go to Vietnam. Golden Brook said, LOL. She goes, yes, it is true. Papa John's,
Oh
the
yeah.
owner, John, he said, opened his mouth and said something he didn't have no business saying.
But again, that's another one that has not come back, y'all.
Yeah. Oh,
And
yeah.
I don't like his pizza
But the
anyway.
bottom line is, but it don't matter. See, for him, it didn't hurt his pocketbook though.
No.
He just got taken out of the public eye,
Right.
but his money's still rolling in. Dog the bounty hunter. Yeah, he got. I can't remember exactly what he did, but yeah,
What did he do?
he said something foolish. Let's see. Yeah. Oh, Derek, I think we've definitely kind of came to that same conclusion. I think there's a difference between blackballing and council culture, because again, blackballing doesn't necessarily mean you did anything wrong. Blackballing, you can get blackballed for telling the truth.
That's
Yeah.
true.
You
Or
can get
standing your
blackballed for
ground.
standing
Right.
up for somebody.
Yeah.
Waiting for this one. Look what they did to Bill Cosby.
Okay.
And there's some big time theories on that. In fact, H-Rap at the End of the Bench podcast on this past Thursday show, he played a clip from Bill Cosby back in the day. And there are some theories out there that, Bill Cosby has been pro-black for a long time.
Right.
Okay. He played in a couple of these black exploitation movies. If you hadn't seen Bill Cosby and Sidney Poitier and a couple of old school movies, go back and watch them. It is fabulous. And Bill Cosby's characters in those movies were fantastic. And then also Bill Cosby, there's rumors that he was attempting to purchase NBC.
Yeah.
Which a lot of folks didn't like, so they put this stuff out. So Bill Cosby, there's a lot of debate about how that took place.
Right.
Shaq took that.
Oh yeah, Papa John's.
Oh yeah. He owns a lot of them. Yes, I'm with you, Selena. I
don't like their pizza.
I'm with you, Selena. Golden Brook says yes, dog. I was about to mention that. Yeah. So okay. So I think y'all answered the question: why does council culture exist? And I started talking about Alyssa Milano and Harvey Weinstein and things of that nature. And again, typically council culture, the theory and the thought of it should be when somebody does something wrong to where nobody will debate whether it's wrong or not,
Yeah.
right? It's something said against a racial group or a sexual orientation group or a gender group, or something of that nature is what it should be. It's not always that, unfortunately, which leads me to a couple other questions. Does council culture, Nikki, and I'm gonna start with you on this one. Does council culture hold people accountable? Okay. And I'll add to that by saying, is it our responsibility to help hold others accountable? Is it our way to exert some sort of control in a world that we cannot control? And do we promote ourselves as the judge and jury?
Well, you asked a lot of questions in one, didn't you, babe?
Don't just think about this. Think about the major one. Does it hold people accountable? I'm just giving you some things to think about as you think about the accountability.
Okay.
Is it really our responsibility? Is it a way of control? Are we judge, jury, and executioner? Does it really hold people accountable? Nikki.
I think that people do need to be held accountable. And I do also think that we do have the responsibility to hold people accountable, especially if it's something that they've done that we've been spending our money, our time, and all those other things on. But at the same time, I don't know if they truly, really ever get to the point where they're going to stop doing this, no matter how much we complain about it or say what needs to be done, unless it's something like the R. Kelly or Bill Cosby or people of that nature, that they get extensive, charges brought against them and stuff like that. But otherwise, I don't know if it's really truly going to work, even if we do stand our ground and try to, because we aren't judge and jury. Nobody is. So we definitely can't. I don't think that we can always keep them in line, so to speak.
All right.
They have to want to make a change on their own, themselves. Right. But we can do it with them pockets by doing the boycotts and all that. I think that's a good way for us to do it if we wanted to do it.
Okay, Nikki, Mika, does it hold people accountable?
I don't know if it holds people accountable, because once you cancel them, then what? What lesson have they learned? I've been canceled, but what? That's just like you just said with the Papa John's owner. He wasn't held accountable. We canceled him.
Yeah.
But his pockets are still big and fat. Right. What did he learn from that? So I think when you hold people accountable, they have to learn from it. Yeah. So when you cancel them, some are, like you said, some of them are just like, okay, I got my money.
Yeah. Or the ones that don't have their money, like Paula Dean and all the other ones like that, they should have learned, and hopefully they did learn from it, and they did hold themselves accountable at that point.
No, they didn't hold themselves; they got held accountable.
They got
got held accountable, but hopefully they did learn from it.
So I think Mika's question or answer is good in the sense that I don't know. In other words, in the bottom line is some people get held accountable, some people don't. Right. Yeah, it just depends on, and then again, it's a matter of what you hold dear. For instance, Mika says the Papa John's owner did not get held accountable, but did he? Maybe he saw being the face of the company more important than he did the dollars and cents of it, right? Because now he's not on any more commercials, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, some people covet fame more than they covet fortune. Yeah, right. That's true. So it could have. So the answer to the question is we don't know. We don't know whether somebody gets held accountable or not. The gentleman Kevin Spacey from House of Cards. And a number of other things. LA Company, a lot of good movies Kevin Spacey was in. Kevin Spacey, you ain't seen him no more since he got canceled. That's right. True. Well, Louis C.K. is a comedian that was canceled for a period of time. So that's another question.
So are we holding them accountable, or are we making them bitter?
Yeah, I don't. And that's the great question. We don't know. And I think the answer is that there's each individual circumstance and situation is different. Some folks are being held accountable. Some folks are just being bitter, but some folks aren't being made better. Again, we talk about Louis C.K. He was canceled, but now he's back doing tours and stuff again.
Right.
So did he learn a lesson? Et cetera, et cetera. I don't know.
Okay, so then what's the purpose of holding of this cancel culture then? If it's not going to be any consequences behind it,
awareness.
Yeah.
Well, that's the only thing that is going to be. It's going to be.
Well, not for everybody. Some people it is costing them, right? Like Roseanne is completely. It cost her dollars and cents because she's off the show. So again, I think the answer is that it is different for each individual. Each individual circumstances. Some folks it costs them more than others. Let's see a couple of comments. Let's see. Charlotte says, I agree with Nicole completely about accountability. H-Rap says, yes, if they don't pay for it, then you're right. It's not. Okay, so if they don't pay for it, then it's not doing anything, basically, is what he's saying. Rita says, I wish the Trumpers and Republican Senate would cancel Donald Trump.
They're not.
Selena said, council culture is multifaceted. It can hold some accountable while others are unaffected.
Exactly.
Yet, I don't know what she said. Yet something has been canceled while speaking their truths, right or wrong. Yet she's meant to say, yet some have been canceled while speaking their truths, right or wrong, right? See, Big Illinois is still on podcast and in the chat room. He's trying to say that he should have been canceled.
Oh my God.
Justin says, how do you explain Russell Simmons? I don't know what's happening with Russell
What
Simmons.
about Russell?
What happened with him?
I don't know. And then A-Trap says, I think it depends on what they do. And that leads me to another point, right? We all know that no one operates in perfection, right?
Right.
So there are arguments against cancel culture, right? And some of them we've kind of touched on now. Are they really paying the price? Is it really affecting them, et cetera, et cetera? Well, some people say that cancel culture doesn't enable people to apologize and learn from their mistakes, right? Because you just counsel them. You don't give them an opportunity to even answer for it, basically, is what they're saying. And if you're allowing them, hey, I was wrong. That was back 20 years ago. The thought process was different. Shouldn't have said it. Shouldn't have did it. Whatever the case may be, should they still be canceled? So, again, are we giving them, I think Mika may have said it, but are we giving them the ability to be rehabilitated if we just simply flat out counsel? In other words, what are the incentives of counsel culture if we're not giving them some comeback, right? Some way to learn from it, grow from it, et cetera, right? What are the incentives for them to learn from it if we're just saying we're counseling you can't learn from it? Mika, give me your thoughts on that.
I think it's just like a student. If they get suspended and nobody ever explains, or try not to coach that student, like, what was the point of the suspension? Because I'm gonna do it again next week. Nobody told me what I did wrong, or I know it was wrong, but how can I correct this action? So, like you said, what is the point? If but like Selena said, Nikki said, and you said, it's different for everybody. Especially, I think it's even worse when we allow that person or that place or whatever to come back quicker than others. It's because a lot of people have it, in their mind. That's okay. If they cancel me, I'll be back next year. My pockets can take it, or whatever the case may be. So they're not really learning. So I think it's when you're canceled, it's not even up to us what happens after you're canceled. Because if you're canceled, you're canceled. But if you're canceled, you should want to go and learn. Okay, so what did I do wrong? What did I say wrong? How, what was up with that?
Okay. Nikki, do we give people a chance to rehabilitate, learn from their mistakes, et cetera, with the way current council culture is currently constructed?
I think that kind of like, I don't really want to use it as like, try to do it like with a parent and a child, but most of the celebrities, they have agents, they have people that they work with or whatever. Couldn't those people themselves help hold them accountable, help them to learn from what they've done, and help them to to get it right the next time so that this doesn't happen, or if they're able to get back out there and do it again, to just kind of coach them and through the process of what they should actually be doing. If you're racist, keep it to yourself. If you know what I mean, other things like this, some things like didn't Mama always say you don't say
don't be racist.
don't be racist. No,
yeah. So no, what I'm saying is, didn't Mama you say don't say everything that you feeling? Yeah, don't everything don't come out your mouth. Shouldn't come out your mouth.
I didn't listen to that.
Yeah, no, you did. But I'm just saying, sometimes people do foolishness because they just don't know. They think that there's no consequences to it.
But sometimes we don't have a team around us.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. So they have a team around them if they should. I would think agents or
no. I'm saying the team may not, know or maybe afraid.
The facts are that the team sometimes are yes men and
yes
women.
men.
Well, that's true too.
Them, and in talking to a couple of people in professional athletics and Hollywood circles. Sometimes what you think is going on with regard to the people around them and what should be common sense and automatic is just not taking place, and a lot of that is because they're so used to dealing with people who just want to be told yes, So we're going to do a couple of more comments and then we're going to get into the streets be talking. All right, so we got Derek says cancel culture is not about rehabilitation. It's a message to others, warning them not to follow suit. It's a modern day stoning. Wow.
Whoa, that's good.
I like that.
That's a good way to think about it.
John Lewis, what's up, John? He said, doesn't it depend on what was done?
Yeah.
I think so. Remember Isaiah Washington was canceled from Grey's Anatomy for saying a gay slur to George during filming.
I forgot about that.
Miss Sonia, hey y'all. Hey, Miss Sonia.
Hey.
Charlotte says maybe it's me, but the people I've seen counsel don't seem to be genuinely sorry. They say what people expect them to say, like a trite apology, but it doesn't appear genuine. Right on. Genevieve says another aspect, when you counsel your relationship with a significant other, folks need to learn and don't diss that person. Blasting them on social media is not the venue. Get help. There's consequences to this situation, in my opinion. Okay, I don't know what John is asking, but was he gay though? I guess he's talking about this right here.
Isaiah? The George.
The George during filming. But was he gay though? Again, we don't think gay. Truth has anything to do with it.
Oh my God.
John.
And now it is time for
Streets of talking.
Yes, the streets are talking. This is normally the Baby Queen segment.
Is that your dance she was doing in South Dallas this weekend?
Wow.
Yeah.
But we have a couple of topics, one in particular that is too hot not to touch today. So we're going to get into that. Mika, it's on you.
All right, family. We need y'all to chime in and talk to us. Okay, so y'all know the streets have been hot the last few days with several different topics. But yesterday, the verdict came in for good old Ara Kelly. And I do say Ara for my mama.
Step in the name of love.
He believes he could fly. He believes he was stepping in the name of love. He believes he was Chocolate Factory, all of it. But the jurors believed he needs life. So, y'all, what are y'all thinking? He was convicted of several different things, especially with young girls, 16, 17, 18.
Pissing on people and stuff.
Right.
What'd you say?
Pissing on people and stuff.
That's gross. That's gross. So what do y'all think? Should he be speaking of cancel culture, should he be canceled? Has he already been that is gross. Has he already been canceled? Would you cancel him? Because
you're right, John.
Because he's a musical genius. Bye, John. Bye, John.
Hey, that can be the name of his new single, That Morning P.
So Justin says, pee on you, drip, drip, drip. John says, can he make music in jail? And then he says that morning pee.
Is that the name of a new
What's
song?
the point?
Oh, man.
Miss Selena says cancel him. Yeah, I think he's already been canceled.
Yeah, he's been canceled.
So my question is this regarding this, right?
Mhm.
You can't talk about R. Kelly without talking about Michael Jackson.
Yes, you can.
No, you can't.
Now, I get mad behind Michael
No,
Jackson.
you
But
can't.
did they find Michael Jackson to be guilty of anything?
Ted, fix your face.
Now
R.
you
R.
know.
Kelly had
This is my point. This is
no.
my point. So with these artists, should Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, or other streaming platforms remove them from their sites,
No.
or should they let the consumer decide?
That's a good point. I say let the consumer decide. And I only say that because I think I forgot, I don't know who I was talking to with about this, but like he is a musical genius. And I get that. His thinking is, to be a genius, your thinking is off. So he is off in a few ways, but I don't.
But y'all also have to
remember.
remember.
To me, he's
Huh?
Y'all
canceled.
also have to remember too that his childhood, the things that happened to him. That's the
was
thing that
raised-
I think
yeah.
about, because
Yeah.
trauma
Wait, you're talking
is
about Michael Jackson now?
no,
R.
I'm talking about
Kelly.
R. Kelly,
Right.
his
Was by
childhood and stuff. Because wasn't he being molested by a
by
family
his
member?
sister.
But yes. So, and most of the time when people are sexually assaulted or whatever, or molested or whatever words you want to call it, they normally typically
Repeat.
have that same pattern, especially if they haven't had any kind of counseling or anything like that at all. So there's a lot of factors to look at with regards to all that.
Well, this is what I again, for me, when, like I said, streaming platforms, they decide to pull them, and they're deciding to pull them because they think that's what their fan base is going to want, or their subscribers are going to want. And I say free enterprise says you let the market set itself.
Yeah.
So you leave it there. If they're not buying it, they're not buying it.
And
they're not
they
downloading it.
They had women falling out at that courtroom. Did you see that on the internet? The ones, his supporters. I'm serious. It was tons of them out there. They were crying, and girl, it was a mess. They was mad about
I need
Aura.
to find out where they from. Almost jar the pee up and call it R. Kelly to yourself.
They gonna buy it.
Golden Brick said, I brought that tape back in the day at a beauty supply store. We just say I still watch his videos and listen to his music and will continue.
Stepping in the name of love, and we
is that supporting this individual?
I don't think that's supporting him.
Just because you watch his videos and listen. Well, is it? Because think about this. When you watch a video or you download, there are advertising dollars that are attached to that sort of thing, right? Number of streams, number of views, et cetera, right?
Well, he's gonna need that to pay for his legal counsel now.
Well, he's not necessarily gonna get the money.
He's not gonna get
Somebody getting it. But
here's the thing: why not use that money to help the victims? You can use that money for different things. But
you think the people at Spotify, the people at YouTube, the people at man, shit, they ain't trying to get that money away. Golden Brook said he should be convicted. A-Trap says no, they didn't. Charlotte says, I think he's already been counseled. The fact that he's gotten away with these troubling acts for so long is disturbing. All the way back to Aaliyah. And I think I heard somebody say, you got to get the mamas that dropped the kids off, and the dad is a whoever.
And they wanted money too, because I'm sure he paid a lot of those parents.
Yeah.
They need to be behind.
Should they be convicted? Should they be brought up on charges of child endangerment? Right?
Endangerment, right? Because if your child is 14, 15 years old, why is she going with a grown man?
Because you let R. Kelly come and ask me about Kenyatta. I'm gonna say what? and it's gonna go down right there in that parking lot.
Yeah, you drop your child off for a
Yeah,
check.
you don't. They wanted that money.
Golden Brooks is like Mika. She did not want to talk about Michael Jackson. She said, "We are not talking about
Not.
MJ. R.
And we
Kelly
not.
is the topic."
Nah.
John says that shouldn't be the consumer should decide because we love for his gift, no lifestyle.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm not. Wait a minute. He said that shouldn't be for the consumer.
Oh, it should be for
that shouldn't be for the consumer to decide
Spotify.
because we love for his gift, no lifestyle. Yeah, I don't know about that. You get dangerous when you start making the decision for the consumer. That's like making the decision for the voters or making the decision for the people. It's very dangerous when big institutions, be they government or private, start making the decisions for everybody. That's the problem.
I think he's trying to say they shouldn't.
They shouldn't what?
Decide
Oh,
because
maybe.
we love
Okay,
his gift, not his lifestyle.
Consumers should decide. Okay, he just think. Remember, y'all, if you missed the show last week, we talked about John with the sock. So they're not really good at spelling and pronunciation and all that kind of stuff, and punctuation. So he wanted to say they shouldn't. Period. The consumer should decide because we love for his gift, no lifestyle, whatever, not lifestyle. Okay. Justin says my question is, where are the parents? Yep, we just said that. Derek said if that's the premise, nobody's music would get played. You don't want to know most of the famous people private lives, right? 100%. The Selena says the abused become the abuser.
Yes,
that's very true.
And Charlotte, I thought we wasn't talking about Michael, but she goes, Michael Jackson was about money. People accusing him to gain it. When so many people denied his guilt and his power, buying the Beatles catalog and talking about music executives. Yeah. Let's see. This is off topic. I think it was but just to go to the genius of Michael, I forget who it was. You have these rap battles nowadays, or these battles between people, or these Twitter fights and all this other kind of stuff. I think it was MC Hammer. I'm not quite sure, but I think it was MC Hammer who was talking trash about Michael, but somebody did. And instead of Michael talking trash back to him, he just bought their whole music catalog. So now every time your song is played, I make money. That's how you get back at somebody. Goldenbrook says, Nikki, sometimes you hate what's done to you, so you don't repeat it. Oh, okay. So she's talking about the abuse.
Right. But the thing is that back then, I'm sure that nobody was doing counseling like people do now.
Yeah.
They do it a little bit more now.
Just a couple of more comments, and then we'll get back to the topic on council culture. Weeda says Michael Jackson was with little boys, and they were younger than the girls. R. Kelly was fooling.
And Weeda, that was never proven.
No.
Marita says there's royalty being paid, and he do get the funds. Okay. John says that is a slippery slop.
He's doing that intentionally.
Yeah.
When Eddie had them muscle shorts on, ain't nobody take his money.
See, they sure didn't. Eddie Murphy.
What is he talking about? Muscle shorts.
I can't. John, stop.
Oh my God.
Justin says he no longer has his catalog.
No, he no longer has it.
In R. Kelly defense, majority of the mothers were pimping out there.
Yes, they were.
You can't call them little girls hooches.
And the daddy was doing it too, because some of them had the daddy and the mama.
Nicole Dawkins Briscoe fighting R. Kelly. Charlotte says making decisions for the consumer is censorship. Golden says that's a cop-out because he was molested. He did what he wanted to do because he thought nothing would happen.
I don't believe that it's a cop-out. I just think that nowadays people have counselors that they can walk through these things with when they have trauma and stuff. And it wasn't talked about as much in the past like it is now. So I don't necessarily consider it a cop-out. I just think that he just didn't have any guidance, anybody there to take him to get the help that he needed mentally.
Yeah. There's a difference between a cop-out and a contributing factor. They're not mutually exclusive. Right. They can both be true.
And do you send this person to jail or do you send them to therapy?
Are you talking about R. Kelly?
Yes.
I'm saying, like, you have
seriously.
Do you send this person to jail for?
What is
Do
that
you
going to
send
do?
this person to? I'm not taking. I'm not taking up for him.
I'm not playing
Do
with
you
Ted.
Do you
I'm
send
just
him
talking.
to
Just keep
jail,
talking.
or do you make sure he gets the help that he needs? Because he's mentally sick.
Both.
Yes, he
Both.
is.
He's
Both.
anybody who thinks a young girl should do that to a young girl is mentally sick. So
Yeah,
do you
both.
help him in prison, or you just put him in prison and let
And that's not going to do anything but make him
get a hold
worse.
of him?
I'm gonna go on to the next comment. Derek says, Ivan, that's why we're in the shape we're in now. The government and big business are making decisions for us.
Yeah.
Genevieve said, I'm not sure life.
They haven't gave him life yet.
He
He's
needs
going to be
hard
sentenced
time,
in May
no
of
less than
next year.
25 years of counseling, pay via the dollar from the sales. Derek says it was Justin Timberlake. That's right. That's right, Derek. That's right. Oh, Michael Jackson.
Justin Timberlake's
Yeah,
thing?
Justin
His
Timberlake was
catalog.
talking trash about dancing or whatever, and Mike don't say nothing. Hey, let's get by his stuff.
But Justin thought he was probably a better dancer, but not.
Wow.
That's how you
Yes,
cut
that
somebody
one.
out. Golden Brooks, he didn't count on people tricking on his ass. Oh, wow. Charles says, I agree with you, Golden. Genevieve said, I recently served on a similar case with a few minors. We gave him 10 years, must serve 2 before the chance of parole. Genevieve said the parents need to be held accountable also.
Yes.
Both. Derek says, R. Kelly just needed somebody's daddy to choke him out one good time. Where were the daddies? Right?
Where were the
They
daddies?
was getting a check, Derek.
we just
Get
said,
the
can I
daddy.
borrow some money to put on R. Kelly's books in jail? No. Justin said, I would pray that they help him. Okay. So back to, so that was the streets are talking. Good session. Appreciate it. Mika, thank you for filling in for Lily. And as a reminder to our viewers, please hit the like button, click the like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. We need your support, please. I want the knife, please. You got to remember that one. Okay, so going back to council culture. So we talked about a little bit about, I kind of touched on it when I talked about things that happened 5, 10, 20 years ago.
Mhm.
Have we taken council culture too far when we're counseling people for what they did 40 and 50 years ago? Nikki.
You talking about Bill?
No, not necessarily just Bill. There's a lot of people. I mean, you hear this quite frequently.
Yeah, I know.
On people talking about, commercials that people did,
Right.
40, 50 years ago,
Yeah.
or what they said. I think John Wayne was even brought back to what he said, back in the 60s or something like that. Now all of a sudden, any ad that may still be running with his likeness or image, we're not going to run it no more because of what he said. Are we going too far when we talk about what people did 40 or 50 years ago?
I think it depends on what they did. Because some things may be really detrimental things that they might have done then to people, to others. I think that we should, of course, continue to cancel them, keep them canceled. Don't bring them back. Just keep them canceled. It just depends to me on what they've done.
Okay.
And
Nika?
for example, like the people in the Me Too movement and stuff of that nature, like that. Even R. Kelly. If R. Kelly wasn't, if he didn't have his whatever happened to him in his past, I don't care what anybody say about it. Everybody gonna have their own opinion or whatever. But what I'm saying is that when trauma happens and there is no help that person has gotten from anybody in the professional realm of mental health, then he is not going to be rehabilitated or any of that kind of stuff. He has to get that help done.
Go ahead, finish.
He has to get that help. So what I'm saying is it depends on what a person has done. Because sometimes some of the stuff that people do is to cancel them. It's petty stuff. And that shouldn't need to be canceled for eternity. If it was 50, 60 years ago. Because we don't, like just with Bill Cosby, we don't really know exactly I believe it was because of him trying to buy the NBC and all the other things that he was doing. But you never really truly know why people are canceling him or why they set him up for failure or whatever the case may be. But what I'm saying is, I don't know that we're going to. Sometimes I do believe that we're going too far depending on what they did, what the person did.
Well, based on your theory, when you said, you know, he had trauma, so as a result, he did something. He never got help for that trauma, so we need to get him help now, not send him to jail. Well, if that's the case,
No, not send him to, I didn't say to not send him to jail. I said that he needs to get help. And nowadays, the jail, the prisons and stuff, they need to have mental health experts there to work with the ones who've had trauma and stuff. I didn't say not to send him to jail.
Okay.
He can go. He can be sent to jail.
Because we got to be careful as to what we say based on what we're going to allow people to do or forgive people for doing based on the trauma that they experience. Because if that's the case, Black folks should have the right to go around whipping the shit out of white folks all day long, every day for the trauma that they experienced back in the day, right? You know, because again, especially if you believe that trauma is passed down. Right, you know, which I think studies show that it is. So we got to be careful as to what we allow or what we excuse based on.
Yeah, I never said he shouldn't go to jail. I said that he needs to get counseling, and he does, because he's never gonna be whole if he doesn't.
Who's gonna pay for that counseling?
The taxpayers gonna pay for y'all paying for him to be in jail already.
Should we? That's the.
So what if he get in there and do something else?
But
do you understand what I'm saying by that?
I got
because so he can still continue to do things in there. But he has to have some help. I'm serious. Y'all are laughing, but y'all know how I am about mental health.
They gonna like it in there.
Yeah, no, I'm not. No, I'm talking about there could be other things. So he's sick. They're gonna
trade him a pack of ramen noodles.
He is seriously sick. I'm not talking about that. There's other things that could happen too. I'm saying, and I'm not just talking about the sexual part of it that could happen, that could take place.
A couple of more comments. Justin said, "Hell yeah!" I don't know what. I can't remember the question I asked, but he said, "Hell yeah!" Oh, when I first posed the question about, are we taking it too far when we counsel people for what they did 40 and 50 years ago? His answer was hell yeah. Golden Brook says, you ladies are beautiful. Derek says, this is a fantastic point. He says, white people put their bad famous people away quietly. We blast our Black famous people. I think there's so much.
But if somebody white does it, then we get mad.
Does what? Oh, say
if
blast.
If they blast the Black people, then we get mad.
Yeah. That's a perfect point. And I mean, it's just like what we do in our church. In the church, we cancel people loudly in the church.
Yeah.
So yeah.
John said, "Ain't nobody trying to wake up looking for their parents with Bill." Genevieve says, "My thoughts is this defense team will ask for that counseling with a lesser sentence than life." Michael Vick served time in prison for his involvement in a dogfighting ring. I believe he prospered more when he got out. That's a whole nother topic there.
Yeah, but R. Kelly ain't gonna probably get out because he's gonna get life. Probably.
We sent Vick away for something he did for dogs, and people done worse to humans that getting far less.
They get probation.
A whole nother topic. Pastor Dalton says some are paralyzed in the present and future because they are punished for their past. Not all situations deserve the same treatment.
That's right.
John, you tune in at the front of the show and you'll learn some stuff. Justin said it's not about us blasting them.
And John, we know you just want to piss Alicia off.
Derek said R. Kelly gonna be on the wrong end of that 12 play now. Wow. All right, we only got a couple of minutes left, so Nikki, we're gonna start with you. We wanted you to give just some final thoughts on council culture.
I just don't believe. Sometimes I just believe that it just depends on the circumstances. I really do, and I know everybody has their own opinion, but I do believe that sometimes we are quick to cancel people without knowing a lot of information and a lot of the background or whatever about whatever happened, and whatever the circumstances were. But I just think that we need to be a little cautious about how how quickly we cancel people, because sometimes there's other factors involved that we don't even know about. So, and when I say that, I'm talking about not just R. Kelly, I'm talking about why people did what they did with Mike, because everybody saying that Michael was with these little boys, but nobody ever proved that he was with any little boys. He never got charged for any of that kind of stuff. So that's what I'm saying. A lot of people did cancel him too for it, but I didn't cancel him. But at the same time, we just got to be mindful because we all have done things in our lifetime that we're not proud of, and we've all sinned and fallen short of God's glory. So not one sin is any that they did is any worse than the other. What we've done, a sin is a sin.
Yeah, Mama say, Mama saw, Mama who saw.
Exactly. And again, I miss Mama Lee. I wish she was on the panel with us tonight, but I know she'll be back next week. And thank you guys for all of your support and for tuning in to Queen3 and King every week so faithfully.
Mika, final thoughts.
Let's be careful about who we cancel. Sometimes our punishment doesn't match the crime. So everybody doesn't need to be canceled. Some people need to be counseled. So I think we need to watch how we do that. And sometimes when you want to cancel a person, you don't need to go get 10,000 other people. If you want to cancel a person, cancel them. Like Derek said, we could be so loud with how we cancel people. And we don't, sometimes I didn't know why. I'm gonna admit, I don't know why I was canceling H&M. I wanted to go there, but I was like, okay, now what happened? But I got on the bandwagon. So watch who you cancel because you have to know your facts, know what's going on. And see, everything and everybody doesn't have to be canceled because you disagree. So that's just my thoughts on cancel culture. Thank y'all for tuning in this week. Leisha, we'll see you next week. These people missed you, they said. What'd you say? Oh, they said they missed her.
That's so bad acting.
And some of y'all would be canceled if y'all was celebrities too. As quiet as it's kept.
He said, "Why I can't go to H&M?"
Yeah, I was like, "What now? What happened?"
You still don't know what happened?
No, I did. But when people start putting it on social media, you're like, okay, I'm gonna cancel them too, and you hadn't even seen what happened.
Yeah,
like do your own research.
All right. Google it. Charlotte says, I enjoy your show every time I join. Thank you so much for all that you do. Have a very blessed week. We appreciate you and your support, Charlotte. For me, my final thoughts on cancel culture is this.
All right.
It's similar to what I say in terms of whenever I'm managing a department, or serving as the director over a department or whatever the case may be, and it becomes time to let somebody go. Did we let you go? Or did you let you go? Did we fire you or did you fire yourself based on your actions? Yeah. Did we counsel you or did you counsel yourself based on poor decisions? So that's what I'd say, first of all, is that, watch what you do, watch your behavior, which I think Derek said it a little earlier, is that it's not about accountability. It's about awareness and telling folks this is not going to be tolerated. Right. So again, watch your behavior. And for everybody else that's doing the counseling, from a spiritual standpoint, when you talk about be careful, there's a saying about, being free from sin and casting stones. And there's a saying about glass houses and stuff like that. You get my point. But the bottom line is we definitely need to be quite certain about who we counsel. A lot of times I don't think we're trying to be certain. I think we like to glom on. There's this mob mentality when it comes to counseling, and when the mob is beating the hell out of somebody, we just trying to get some licks in. And then if you stop long enough, you'll figure out it was your mama's ass y'all was kicking, So stop and wait to see who y'all jumping in on mob before you get in on it. Because sometimes you can't see who the mob beating up on because of the mob, and you trying to get in on it. So wait and see who we beating up and why. Cedric the Entertainer said it best during one of his stand-up routines. Black people, if you see somebody running, your ass gonna run.
Oh yeah, we are.
And you're gonna figure out back then what we was running for. Council culture, Queen3 and King. We certainly appreciate your support. We'll see you next week on Queen3 and King, where our topic is. We'll let you know when we find out. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, y'all.
Are we smiling or what are we doing?
The queen bee has arrived.
You know. What's your out then? So I'm gonna start with both of y'all's hands right here.